also. This is a continuation of a theory, right? In the last class, we have seen the operating system services. At this point, we have stopped. We have seen the different services, okay, program execution, IO operation, file systems, communication, resource allocation, resource, CPU as a resource, memory as a resource, okay, file as a resource, device as a resource. And on the top of that, accounting and error detection is a part of this. And also I said about the protection and security, we discussed about that. Today morning, we have seen that, okay, protection. How do your file is being protected? Okay, you people try all those things and keep it ready. This is where we are stopped. Now, let me get into the other one is the user interface, right? We talk about the command line, okay, or graphical user interface. So this interface is nothing but, in fact, the term interface speaks about that, right? Any command that you type on the screen, right, that will be made available to, okay, system, it executes and the response you will get it back, right? So this is how it get into. My video is also available, Manoj.
Sir, no, no, sir, no, sir.
Video, mm, or something. Just a minute. Okay. Anyhow, audio is visible. Audio is okay, clear to you all people. We'll continue with this. Right. Now look into that. The another important thing, what I was speaking all about, is error detection. OS needs to be constantly aware of possible errors. So when you commit an error, it displays. For example, today morning you saw that you don't have an access, okay, to execute a particular file, and you make an attempt to execute. It says that, okay, permission to execute the program is denied. I mean, you have been denied to execute this program because permission is not there. So that kind of an error message, right, it will take care. I mean, it should be in the position to, okay, provide all possible set of error indicators and all, right? This. Then I told you about resource allocation. Already we have gone through. Okay, CPU as a resource, main memory as a resource, file as a resource, IO device as a resource, accounting, how much, okay, CPU is being used, how much memory is being used. Probably will see it in your mobile also, right? How much memory you are used. That kind of services, okay, operating system should be in the position to provide. There are a number of other things. And today morning we saw protection, security, these aspects we have seen it, right, through small examples, right? And command interpreter, I told you that, okay, let me share with you this system. This is, okay, at this prompt, okay, dollar prompt, you say that one clear, right? So this instruction goes to the operating system. So command line interpreter, it may be a graphical or otherwise, okay, command interpreter, right? It takes the instruction or the command, whatever you have typed, and submit it to the operating system and returns the result back to you, right? This is what is the role of, okay, command interpreter, right? And this we are going to study a programming aspect of that, maybe in the third and fourth chapter and all. So where we talk about the shell, right? Shell script, shell programming, all the things we'll try to do. It has its own environment. How do we read certain parameters? How do we see, for example, when you run here, there is some shell script is running. Shell is running. It takes its your input. What are the standard, okay, shell that is available? What are its role? How do we program it? What are the environment variables? All the things we will study, okay, in chapter number 3 and 4. You need to wait for that. Now continuing this particular thing, right? We use a system calls get PID, get PP, parent PID, okay, fork and all. We use system calls. Now, how does it happens? And that will trigger our next programming assignment, exec command system call. How to execute right, a program from another program. So in a kernel, right, you have something, your standard C library, here is a program. So when you say print, what it does, it goes to standard library. Standard library in turn, okay, calls, okay, appropriate system call, set of, okay, predefined, okay, operations, functions available with the operating system. That in turn execute that one and gives a result back to you. And this is the diagram that you all people have seen, how okay, the particular things work in user mode and kernel mode and all, right? So your printf uses a library, C library, that in turn uses a write system call. Operating system provide a set of system calls for process management, file management, device management, right, and all, right? So this is a generic view of, okay, what is a system calls. Now when you look at that, here is a small list. Okay, forget about the window related things. Okay, we are not, okay, studying all these things, right? When you look at the process control, you got the fork already are used. It's the variations we'll be using it in the next laboratory, right? Exit, wait, you'll study all these things. These are the few system calls. Fork is used to create a child process, which you know about that. Similarly, when, okay, we all use this, okay, file manipulation, right? You want, file is nothing but, okay, storage where you can keep some information and retrieve some information specific to the file that you have created, right? So you can open a file, you can read a file, you can write a file, you can close a file. These are the set of services you provide. This is similar to your fscanf, okay, printf, scanf or printf, whatever the C library provides. C library in turn makes use of such system calls and get into. Now coming to, okay, you already used get PID, right? It gets you the process ID of a running process, right? And there are, and today morning we have gone through the change mode, right? You can alter the permission bit of a given file, right? There are, okay, different options, minus, plus, and equal to. Okay, what are the differences you need to study? Similarly, there are set of hundreds of system calls you get it. We will see, okay, in this semester, in next semester also, as and when we come across, right, things, right? But let me okay, make it a point. You use the fork, right? Then you use the get PID, then you use the change mode. These three, right, you are used. We will see remaining things as and when we cover. Okay, it is the ocean. Got it? Right. Now moving to next one. That's what. Okay, what system calls it provides it again descriptive kind of things to create a process. Right. We are used the fork, different variations of fork, and V fork is there. EXEC. All these three we will see it on Sunday. So Sunday at 11:15 we will have a class. Everyone need to attend that because we are driving more than what is required so that you are well prepared for the placement, right? So create a process, we fork, will see it, terminate a process, right? Abort, load, execute. Tomorrow, I mean Sunday, we'll see how to execute that and other variations of creating a process. Get process attribute, set process attribute, wait for a time. There are n number of like a system calls it provides. We need to, right, see one by one, not all, right? Yes. Then similarly, file management, the same thing is repeated. Create a file, open file, close file, read, write, etc. Similarly, all devices, printer, hard disk, okay, keyboard, right? All these are devices. Okay, we will see that later. Right. And also, you have a system calls for some of the information retrieval, maintenance, and all these things. Like get the time, get the date, set the time, right? And you can communicate also. Okay, between the two processes, you can communicate. Okay, that you will see it in the next semester. Okay, you send a mail, right? It goes to server, right? Or you communicate, you make a railway reservation system. Okay, through that you book a ticket, it goes to the server. How do the two system communicate? Or the same process within, right, system, how do a parent and child they communicate and all, right? We will see that later, right? Thus, So all these things you will see it. Okay, this. Then protection. Today, okay, you are seeing one part of the protection, access control, right? So read, write, execute, RWX for owner, RWX for group, RWX for others. So owner, you can try, you can create your own files today evening and keep on remove the execute permission and try to run the exe file, right? And see what happens, right? Getting and setting the permissions and all. Today you tried all the things. So in that way, we take extra class so that many of the practices based learning we will try to provide it to you, right? Then uh, uh, here is something details about the system call. Any call that you use, say for example get PID. Okay, now consider in place of read, it's a get PID. It has its own include files where exactly that system call is being defined. Then it has its own parameters. Every system call is its own parameter. Then every system has its own return value, right? So you need to understand all these things in order to use a system call. Okay, let me take you right to manual and show you about one of the system call which are used, right? So I'll say man, right? Get PID. This is a system call. Now look at that. This defines name get PID. There are many other things. Leave it. Get process identification. Synopsis. It says that when these are the files to be included. Now look at that get PID. It doesn't take any parameter but returns PID underscore T. And you know that one, right? PID underscore T. What is that? We have seen it, right? It is a short integer. It is defined in types.h, right? That's why this particular include file will be putting file to be included, library to be included, so that you can use this, right? And you will get a description. Get PID returns the process ID of the calling process. Any program where get PID you insert that is called calling program, and it will return the process ID, unique ID like your USN number to that. So this is a synopsis available, right? You can quit this particular thing by typing Q, and to get into that one, man, any system call, any command, it provides man is manual, right? You get all these details. So let me get into this from your textbook. Please buy the textbook, right? Go through that, right? So here details can be made available using here also he describes, author describes about the man, right? It is a man page. By invoking the command man any system call you get it, and these are the different aspect of a system call like this, right? You need to understand all these things, right? Then coming to programming interface to the service provided by operating system through system calls, or you can consider system call as an interface, okay, between the program you write it and the operating system service. So you can program it also. You can write your own system applications. You can develop it using system calls, right? Written in high level language like a C or C++, mostly accessed by program via high level application program interface. We call it as an API, okay, rather than direct system call use, right? On a system calls, using system calls, on the top of that, we build our own application and we call application program interface and all these things, right? Mm, now what you can say here is, one minute, I'll see that this. See, when you call a system call in your program, right? How to it gets connected, how to it get executed. That's a very important thing. See, system call interface invokes intended system call in OS kernel and return a status. In OS kernel, all system calls are being registered, right? So through open, through okay, return, whatever that is there. So it has its own implementation, right? You are calling an appropriate system call and make use of its services, right? Then a system call, you need to pass sometimes a parameter, right? How do parameters are being passed, right? So between your program, one minute, between your program and the operating system, right? It makes use of the register. Passing a parameter, right? When I say parameter, main has two different parameters. One is ARGC, other one is ARGB. Who passes the parameter to that? When you run the program, right? Okay, C library, startup routine, it passes that. C startup routine gets an operating system environment variables and make it available to your main function. Does okay? How do the parameters are being passed? The parameters are being passed either through register, right? In CPU, you have a registers. You will study this in computer organization. Registers are the fastest memory which CPU can access directly, like your brain. If I want to remember Manoj, it should be there in my brain. Without that, I cannot operate on that name, right? This is the one way how parameters are passed when you use a system call. One is register, other one is okay, some memory in the operating system, some memory in the system where the parameters are written there, okay, and the operating system can make use of that. It is something like a okay shared board, right? You write it on that board, and other party will read it from that, right? This is the one which we call as a table, right? First one is register, and possibly other one is a stack. Okay, you will study this in your data structure, right? This is a one something like a box, right? You can whatever you keep first, it will go to the bottom. Whatever you keep most recent will sit on the top. And whenever you remove the top most recent one, you will take it. It is also called last in first out memory, right? So again, you will get a question for 1 mark. List the various ways of passing a parameter to system calls. Okay, how do system call, right, passes a parameter to operating system? It is through registers, it is through tables, it is through stack and other things, right? I think this is enough at this stage, right? So some theoretical things, not that much important. When you look at the design of any system, okay, usually you find that there are two different layers, right? What is to be done is a one layer, and how it is to be done. I'll give an example. One is okay, what is to be done. Other one is how to do it. For example, okay, you have used right get PID, get PID, the system call. Now consider at this system calls level only. Okay, what will be done? Right? It will get a process ID, the descriptions and all. But how do it get the process ID? The details of that, its implementation and all, okay, is okay put at some other place. Right? Similar to printf. What it will do printf? It will print the values on the screen, message on the screen. But how does it is being implemented? It's the internal details. So this as a part of the operating system design, they're called policy and mechanisms, right? So whenever I want to protect my file, I use a change mode, right? But internal mechanisms could be different in different implementation of the same operating system. But policy will remain same. Change mode syntax is same. You need to understand. But its implementation may vary from vendor to vendor. Are you getting this? So this is one design principles, policy and mechanism. Policy is what will be done, right? And mechanism is how to do it. It is a theoretical aspect. You will study all these things until fifth semester when you reach software engineering. Wait for that. There are many variations of the same operating system, you will get it. And you will have a system programming language, Algol, PL1, C, C++, they're all old one. Okay, people, today in operating system, you will see C and C++ dominant one, right? People use Perl, Python, shell script, many other things that makes, okay, the languages, okay, systems level applications available on that, right? And first assignment is the evolution of Unix operating system. Prepare that, and I given hint also. Some materials are given. Please go through that. Right now, another interesting thing we'll go through that system boot. When you power on your system, right? There are a lot of initialization takes place, right? When you go to the new house, right? You will clean that. You'll keep all the materials at appropriate place. What should go in kitchen room? What should go in the living room? What should go in the sit out? What should go in the bedroom? Okay, all these things. What should go in puja room? You do all that initialization so that the house is ready to stay, right, guys? Then, when you switch on, there is a firmware which is battery backed up. It is called ROM, electrically erasable EPROM, right? Whatever that is there, which hold initial boot code, right? Right? This cannot be changed. If this gets corrupted, you cannot boot your system at all, right? Then this start executing. The operating system must be made available to hardware so hardware can start working on that, right? A small piece of code which hold the boot code is called bootstrap loader, which is there sitting in a ROM, something like a god sitting in your body called Atma. Are you getting it? When you get up, okay, when you go for sleep, right, you say good night. The reason is that let everything be good so that tomorrow morning your operating system will come up. Atma, you live. When morning happens, you say good morning, thank God, I'm wake up, okay, I'm not dead, right? Who's responsible? Panchaprana, okay, is a god, is a bootstrap loader. He will, when you get up early in the morning, okay, that god inside that one triggers all your hardware parts of human body, hand, leg, digestion system, so many things, right? So the god sitting there, battery backed up god is wrong. In that bootstrap loader is sitting, right? Okay, there is something when we look at the structure of the, okay, that particular disk and all boot block. There are so many things. We will see that later, right? This particular, okay, bootstrap loader, right? Okay, bootstrap loader, which is like a god, which is there in ROM, enabling bringing operating system, handing to or look that this is your body, okay, have a nice day and all, okay. That particular thing is called bootstrap loader. There in the ROM, common bootstrap loader is called grub. There are many, you have to look into that. It is called, right, the GR and Unified Boot Loader, right? Grand Unified Boot, okay, Loader, right? So you have to look into that. This is the bootstrap loader which enables. Many times, okay, you get a question one for 1 mark, and even in a, okay, placement also there's a possibility that you may get it, right? What is a bootstrap loader? Why it is required in during booting? What happens, right? What is a common, okay, bootstrap loader known to you? What is grub? Okay, say grub allows selection of kernel from multiple disk versions and kernel options. There are multiple booting you can create it. You can boot through Windows, you can boot through the Unix operating system, Fedora, you can boot through, right? Multiple partition you can create. Which one to pick and, okay, make that operating system available to you? That grub decides about this, right? So I asked you about the history of Linux operating system. I given certain reading material, prepare and upload, right? There are many questions which you can see in my PPT, which are ahead of time. Some of the things which you can do, right? Anything which you can do, just skip it here. And that's the end of chapter number 1. So chapter number 2, we'll try to get into. We are already into chapter number 2 also through fork, v4, fork, get PID, get parent ID, like all these things. Right? It is introductory. Then we'll slowly get into other aspect of process management, memory management. We'll try to see about that. Right? At this stage, any questions for the next 5 minutes? Otherwise, we will stop, and you can put a questions in your chat box. Let the CRs read that. Any questions? Manoj and Himarashmi, unmute your mic.
No questions yet, sir.
Okay, that's good. Right? This video, morning video also made available. This video I'll make it available soon by night time. Then, okay, Sunday we'll be having at 11:15, right, other laboratory related sessions. Fork, V4, execution, 3 programs I'll run it. I'll be taking 2 continuous sessions. Be ready for that so that you can do certain practices and all. Right? It is mandatory to everyone to attend this extra class on Sunday at 11:15. Right? 11:15 to 12:15 or 1 o'clock we'll do it and stop it. So if there are no questions, right, 1 minute, I will stop sharing the screen. As many as 49 people have participated here. It is less. Around 11 students have not participated. Other people yet to join. Those who are not joined the Google class, please send that one. I'll get connected to them. Right? So with this, we will come to the end of this particular session. I'll close this. Sunday at 11:15 we will have a class. Thank you.